This is a warning to the whole world.
He's got allergies. He's sneezing like crazy.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Barry here with the Scryguys, and today we're doing a deck tech, and I'm just wondering who got their hands on Doctor Who. That's terrible. Yep, today we're going to be doing a Doctor Who deck tech, and I'm just wondering, who did I choose?
Look at that, he did it again!
Let's see which Doctor I chose and which companion I chose with them. We got the Fugitive Doctor, 3 in Gruul, legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. When the Fugitive Doctor enters a battlefield, investigate. Whenever the Fugitive Doctor attacks, you may sacrifice a clue. When you do, target's instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback. Pay 2 in Gruul until end of turn. So that means we're getting a discounted rate on instants and sorceries in the bin. So that means we're going to want to put some fat spells in there so we can kind of cheat them. And the companion I chose for this Doctor is Martha Jones. 2 in blue. When Martha Jones enters the battlefield, investigate. When you sacrifice a clue, Martha Jones and up to 1 other target creature can't be blocked this turn. Doctor's companion. So I think this is just a pairing made in heaven. Being able, because with the Fugitive Doctor, it's nice that it doesn't say you have to connect to deal combat damage, but at 4/4 there's a huge possibility that it's gonna either just get blocked into, to death, or death touch or anything like that. And so giving it unblockable and access to blue is pretty powerful, right? Let's see what we do. Oh, we need to investigate. So I think one of the cool things about this is that means I get to kind of play sort of bad clue cards in this deck, just because you do need the clue tokens to be able to give an instant or sorcery in your graveyard flashback. If you just attack with her without sacrificing a clue, you're just attacking for a 4/4. So let's start off with probably the best clue production in the game. Tireless Tracker, 2 in the green, has landfall whenever a land enters the battlefield. Investigate, and then it has a added caveat of when you sack a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And one thing I want to note is I'm sorry if I'm sounding super stuffed, and that's because I am. My allergies are insane right now. But yeah, so back to the show. Boom. Yeah, it's super solid in clue or investigate production. Another thing is we have trail evidence. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, investigate, we do have a good amount of both in here, so that's going to give us some investigation clues reliably. And then we have ongoing investigation, 1 in the blue, enchantment. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deals combat damage, investigate. And then it also has 1 in the green, exile a creature card from your graveyard, investigate, and you gain 2 life. So pulling double duty. We don't have too many creatures in this deck, but just being able to use some of the creatures that we've already gotten our use for it and investigate, make a clue to get more access to be able to give things flashback. Alright, next up we have Erdwall Illuminator from Return to Innistrad, 1 in the blue, Flying Spirit. Whenever you investigate for the first time each turn, investigate an additional time. So it's acting sort of like a hardened scales type of ability, giving us 1 more clue token when we get to investigate. We have Academy Manufacturer, which is probably one of the best cards in this deck, just because when we either investigate, when we make a clue, when we make a food, it's going to give us all 3 instead. So just a solid token production right here. And then it kind of plays into one of our win cons for the game, so definitely worth a try out. And then Tamio's Journal. It's a 5 legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate, and then you can sacrifice 3 clues, search your library for a card, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. I've always been trying to find a slot for this card into a deck. It just because it's sort of slow, and if your deck isn't really built around clue tokens, then this might just be a 5 mana, wait 3 turns, and hopefully you can demonic tutor for something. But by the time that this comes down, we should be able to sack 3 clues right away, look for something, so then it becomes like a 5 mana demonic tutor. But still, any way to tutor anything in the deck is always solid. And the fact that it also investigates at the beginning of every upkeep is just really good. And I'm really happy I've been able to find a slot for this card in here. But you know, sometimes those clue tokens might just be hanging around, or those food tokens might just be hanging around. So we gotta find them something more to do, right? So we have Inspiring Sanctuary, 3 non-artifact spells you cast have improvised. We do have fairly big spells in this deck on the top end, so being able to turn those clues, foods, and treasure tokens into more like mana rocks is going to be always solid, to be able to cast these spells and then hopefully put them in the bin. That way when we swing with our commander, we get access to them once more. And then we have a Jaheira, Friend of the Forest. This one just turns all tokens that we control into mana dorks. Just a solid piece of being able to utilize those artifact tokens into different things. But hey, sometimes the cards that we have are going to be too big for us to cast at the moment. But if they only cost 2 in Gruul, then they might be viable turn 4, turn 5. So let's see what cards that we're going to use to go ahead and fill up the yard. Classic, Faithless Looting, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, and it also has flashback itself. So maybe in the early game you kept a couple pieces of ramp, and then you kept 1 or 2 big spells, instant and sorceries that you can't cast right now, Faithless Looting it away, and then hopefully we get access to it again later. Thrill of Possibility, just super call it discard and draw 2 card spell. And then Frantic Search, also I guess a classic at this point, right? 2 in the blue, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, and then you get to untap 3 lands, so you could also hold up for interaction as well. Oh, sorry, that went a little bit fast. Pieces of the Puzzle, 2 in the blue, sorcery. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put up to 2 instant sorceries cards from them into your hand, the rest of the graveyard, or you could just put all 5 in there. Actually, no, I don't think so. I don't think we have a choice on that one. It doesn't say you may put 2 instant sorcerers, but it'll just fill up your hand once again. And then also just maybe we'll get access to the other non-land permanents or whatever. Big score, 3 in a red. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card. This one also does a nice little ramp for us too, because we get to draw 2 cards and create 2 treasures, which is going to be the same for Unexpected Windfall. Same thing, pitch a big instant sorcery and then draw 2 cards and then get 2 treasures. Hopefully if Academy Rector's out, we're getting 2 treasures, 2 clues, and 2 foods. But we need to make sure that these cards are gonna give us double time. So we got 1,000-Year Storm, classic for any deck that has a lot of instant sorceries. Foreign is it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant or sorcery spell you've cast this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. So hopefully we're going to be able to get into our smaller cantrips and then build a big storm count to maybe cast one of our higher end spells or higher mana costed spells and then get multiple copies of that. That's what you always hope for with this card, right? We have Mizzix's Replica Rider, 4 in a red, flying. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may pay 1, and hybrid is it. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets for the copy. If the copy is a permanent spell, it gains haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifices permanent. So we don't have too much from playing creatures or anything else from the graveyard, but being able to, when we go flashback, we can turn a spell from 1 spell for 2 more mana to 2 spells. So just a solid tech right there. And then we have parallel lives for all of our tokens and our investigate, our treasure production, our food production. Not too much food production, but it's there. It's just parallel lives, you know. Like, I don't think there's much to say for me for that. But here is going to be our heavyweight spells for the deck. This is gonna make us sort of go off. So, capture Jing Zhao, 3 and 2 blue, take an extra turn after this one. It's probably gonna be the same for this one. Temporal manipulation and expropriate. These are, I think, the only extra turn spells that we have in here. Expropriate is always also doing double duty with. You're probably gonna just get to steal 3 permanents from each of your opponents, but you'll get to take an extra turn after that one. But if we have some of the things that double our spells, this could be 2-3 turns. Johnny Combo Player likes to call these 5 mana explorers, and really that's what they are in this deck, just to give us more turns and hopefully let us storm off sooner rather than later, and hopefully put the game away with these cards. But we also have cards like Blatant Thievery, 4 and 3 blue. For each opponent, gain control of a target permanent they control. Being able to have one of our copy spells in here. We do have a couple of like one-shot copy spells. Blatant Thievery is a great one to do it on, just to be able to steal 6 permanents from everybody. 6 of their best permanents is a pretty solid deal right there. Amanatu's Augury. I love me lottery cards. 6 and 2 blue. Exile the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield until end of turn. For each card type, each non-land card type, you may cast a spell that from the cast. You may cast a spell of that type from among the exile cards without paying this mana cost. So if you exile an instant, sorcery, enchantment, artifact, a creature, a planeswalker, a battle, and whatever else, how many other permanent types are there, or types are there, you may cast one of each from that. So hopefully you're going to be able to catch into an extra turn spell, or maybe a Blatant Thievery, maybe one of your heftier creatures that are going to pull double duty. It's just like a fun lottery card, and then it doesn't exile itself, so you can cast it and then that turn also play it again if you have enough mana, if you've ramped it up, right? And then Mnemonic Deluge, 6 and 3 blue. Exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. Copy that card 3 times. You may cast the copies without paying their mana cost. Exile Mnemonic Deluge. It's so good. If other people on the table are playing extra turn cards, combat cards, draw massive amount cards like Risk Cards Expertise or anything like that, being able to do it 3 times is usually like killer. So definitely worth the slot in for this one. And if we only have to pay 2 and Gruul for it, that's even better, right? Every time I play tested this deck, I've always tried to make sure to pitch Mnemonic Deluge into the bin rather than hard casting it. What card is that though? This is one of the cards that I think makes the deck work really well, and you don't really see it too much unless you're playing against a flashback deck. But Catalyst Stone 2, colorless. Flashback cost you pay costs up to 2 less. Flashback cost your opponents pay costs 2 more. So it's very lightly hurting some of your opponents. And really what they're going to be, like maybe flashbacking and faithless looting at the most. But it just means all your spells now just cost a Gruul color. So it's like almost like the star of the deck too. So, but how do I really want to win though? So I know sometimes people see extra turns and they're like, all right, we'll scoop. I guess he just won. But there's other players that will we'll stick it out. We're like, all right, whatever. He's gonna take an extra turn. Let's see what he does. So but those are all just diversions. For me, they're all just diversions. This is how I really want to win. With cards like Displaced Dinosaurs from the new Doctor Who set. It is 5 and 2 green. as a historic permanent enters the battlefield under your control, it becomes a 7/7 dinosaur in addition to its other types. So that just means when you make treasures, when you make food, after this has come down, they are now also just 7/7s. So the extra turns really just act as a way for me to give time to make these instants or what's it called, clues, treasures, and foods into 7/7s, and hopefully just swing out to everybody. I don't have a overrun effect in here, so hopefully we're gonna be able to psych rift everything away before that happens. But this is one of the ways I really want to win. And Shark Typhoon, this thing is packed with, I believe, 40 plus non-creature spells, and being able to just make a shark, you know, come on, I'm not gonna call it a Shark Typhoon. This is Sharknado, man. So for me, being able to create a whole bunch of Sharknados and just swing out with them is like one of the funniest things to me, as always. But this is how I really want to win this game. Displaced dinosaurs right now is pretty expensive. I think Shark Typhoon is around $7 to $8. But yeah, this is definitely like the funner way for me to win. I don't want to win through just taking 5-6 extra turns or whatever. This is how you always want to win. I always want to win through combat, so this is definitely it. But this is going to be the end of the video. I'm gonna have the deck list down below for you guys to be able to check out. That's just my suggestions. It's pretty expensive. It's a pretty expensive deck. If you guys ever want to see like a budget version of this deck, I'm always down to make that for you guys. And yeah, definitely like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what else you guys want to see. What else do you guys want us to do? Hopefully soon we'll be able to do live gameplay for you guys, or not live, but pre-recorded and narrated gameplay for you guys to just check out me and my play group and the things that we play and all that stuff. So definitely have a good one, guys. See you later.